What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I am back from camping. We were up in the Yellowstone for about a week. And up there, while I was there, I was flying, of course, the drone, trying to get some really cool shots. And I thought, you know what? It'd be really cool to update a video or to create another video of the top 10 drone flights that I like to use, that I think you guys should capture on every single flight, to give you guys a good variety of different shots that you can use. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just jump right in. So we're gonna go through this list in no particular order, but we're gonna start off with something simple, and that is literally just pointing the camera straight down and then moving the drone in a certain direction, forward, backward, left, or right. This gives a really cool bird's eye perspective. I like to use this one following the river's curves and things like that. It just gives a really nice perspective from a top-down shot. Number two, we're gonna go with a simple forward movement with pitching the camera up. So again, you can start with the camera pointed straight down, and you're gonna slowly move forward with the right joystick while pitching the camera up with the little scroll wheel, typically on the top left side of the remote. This is gonna get a really nice moving, flowing shot with you pitching up to use as what would be like a reveal type shot of the surrounding area. Now, one of my all-time favorite shots that I really love to do is something called the orbit. Now, if you have a drone that has the focus track or the focus suite, like the DJI drones, it's really easy to do. You can select a subject and just move the right joystick either left or right, and you can usually set up the speed where it will orbit a certain subject at a certain speed, which is really cool. Now, if you don't have that type of drone, of course you can still do it manually. It just may take a little bit of practice. Now, very similar to the orbit is something called the Parallax. It uses a lot of the characteristics, but essentially what you're going to do is you're gonna use a lot of the same joystick movements that you did with the orbit, but what you're gonna want to do is choose an area where you've got something in the foreground and something that's really far off in the background, and you're gonna want to circle around or orbit around whatever it is in the foreground. This is going to give the illusion as you move that the background is actually moving at a lot faster rate than what's in the foreground, and is a really, really great looking shot. So the fifth shot that we're gonna talk today about is just a simple crane up or a crane down type of shot. It's very simple, it's really powerful. All you need to do is use your left joystick, push up on it or down on it to go up or down. This works best if you're in some tree lines, or maybe you've got a tall building in front of you that you just want to either use it as kind of a reveal shot for maybe an opening shot, or if you're coming back down, you can use it as a closing shot. Now, in tandem with the crane up or the crane down shot, you can also add some form of movement, whether it's either forward, backward, left, or right. This just adds a little bit more of a dynamic shot to whatever it is that you're shooting, and it's really fun too. I typically like to just buzz the tops of tree lines as I'm kind of rising over here. You can see in this shot with Mesa Falls where I'm rising up over the top of the falls and getting what appears to be really close and just getting a really cool, powerful shot. Now let's talk a little bit about the dolly left and the panning type of shot that I like to use. This is used as, again, a surrounding area shot. All you're gonna do is climb the drone to the altitude that you want, and you're gonna simply dolly the drone with your right joystick. You're gonna go left or right, depending on the movement that you want to do. That's gonna start moving your drone left or right. With that, you're gonna wanna add in a little bit of rotation, so you can start moving the left joystick either left or right again, and this will allow you to kind of rotate the aircraft as you're doing a panning effect or as a dolly effect, allowing you to capture the surrounding area in a panning but also a rotational type of reveal, and is a really cool shot to play around with. Now, this next shot is something that I've been experimenting with a lot. Unfortunately, my DJI FPV drone is currently down, so I wanted to see what kind of shots that I could get with the Mavic 3. So unlike your traditional cinematic style shots, where the gimbal has a nice level to it no matter which way the drone is moving, your footage remains level and it remains stable. Well, going into the settings and enabling the FPV or the first person view mode allows the gimbal to lock and move with the movement of the aircraft. So as you can see in this clip, as I was coming up over the top of Mesa Falls waterfall, I was then starting to follow the curves of the river. Now, I had a wide space, and to do this you want to be careful, because if you're wanting to shoot in FPV mode, typically you're wanting to create some type of adrenaline or some fast-paced movement. You want to be careful in sports mode because you don't have your obstacle avoidance enabled. Now, you can do this in normal. It does slow things down a little bit, but it's a really fun shot to kind of move around and make it look like you're flying right above whatever it is that you're trying to shoot. The number 9 shot that I have on my list is something that I like to call the Pullback Reveal. What you're gonna want to do is find a subject, you're gonna fly in front of that subject, and then you're just gonna move your right joystick down, so you're flying backwards, and the idea is to reveal your subject within its surrounding environment, either in the bottom left, or I like to use the bottom right type of third, giving a really cool reveal shot and showing all of the scenery that you've got ahead. Again, you can use different types of movement to do the reveal. You can add in some slight rotation and things like that. You can get really creative with this shot to show the environment that your subject is sitting in. Now this next one, and number 10, the final one that I've got on this list, is the active track. Of course, this works best if you typically have a drone that's got some type of active track capability, but it can be done manually. It also does take some practice. Now, we were up in Island Park, like as I was saying, we were tracking myself and my buddy on a side-by-side. There were times where we were tracking us through some trees, down some trails, just getting some really cool dynamic shots, but there's also times where the Mavic 3 would actually lose me and I would actually have to do it manually. Like I said, this works best if you can just lock onto something, let the drone do the work, but with a little bit of practice, you can actually get really cool shots, if not better shots than what the active track can do if you just play around with it, get some practice in, and be able to manually track your own subjects. So quick bonus tip for those of you that have stuck around, this does require a DJI drone of some kind that uses something called Mastershots. This essentially gives you 2 minutes of completely usable B-roll with all sorts of different styles. All you need to do is go on into the Mastershots, set up your range parameters, hit the start button, and let it do its thing. What this is going to do is it's going to fly around for 2 minutes. You can actually click on the map to show what path it's going to be taking. But once it's done, it's going to create you guys a small montage that if you wanted to post up to social media instantly, you can do so. You can go into the DJI Fly app editor and edit maybe a different tune or a different song to it. But it also gives you a file that you can use and kind of chop up and play around with to get that extra B-roll and throw it into your project. So there you have it. That is my top 10 list of drone movements that I like to do and that I typically try to capture on every single flight. This gives you guys a good, versatile, kind of like library of different shots that you can do with all of the different subjects that you've chosen, and allows you to piece your work together. That is going to wrap it up for this week's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you guys have different drone moves, post those down in the comments below. I'd love to read through those. Other than that, if you liked the video, if you got something out of it, you guys know what to do. Thanks for watching, happy flying, and stay creative. Peace.